So then game 2 on Nightshade, and yeah, so Tahn, our Zerg player, is 1-0 up against Scallywag, our Protoss player, who's in the bottom right here. So in the last game, you know, as I mentioned in the cast, I felt Scallywag was a little overcautious. And as a result just fell behind economically, didn't manage to get anything done really with his adept harass, didn't manage to slow the Zerg down at all. I don't think there was any worker kills in the end, and those adepts, you know, despite that double gateway opening, those adepts were actually very lit. You know, normally a Protoss opening with 2 gateways against a Zerg, it's gonna be 2 adepts really quickly, getting across the map long before there's roaches out and getting in and getting some hurt done, and I'd like to see that happen, to be honest, because that can be, you know, it is an effective opening. That's why you see it so much for Protoss players. You get those adepts, you get them into your opponent's base nice and early, and you get a little bit of hurt done. You know, you're not ending the game. All you're really doing is trying to put some hurt on some drones, maybe force out some lings to deal with the adepts as well. And bear in mind, you know, if you force a Zerg opponent to build lings, that's drones that they haven't built. So what you're really aiming to do is just take the edge off the Zerg economy, because unchecked, you know, on pretty much any map, a Zerg can just run away. They can get 3 bases up so quickly, and they can saturate them so quickly, so much quicker than anything else, that they can just end up with an overwhelmingly strong economy. And it's very hard to get back in then, because the Zerg can just throw stuff at you, just overwhelm you, just suffocate you basically. So is this going to be a cannon rush? Is there in fact forge? There isn't. It looks like this is going to be a 4-gate. Now the problem is Tahn is going to see this as soon as the hatchery finishes up. There is a bit of time before that happens. These stalkers getting caught would be very bad indeed, and one of them indeed does go down, and that is pretty poor. So what Scallywag probably wants to do, if he's full on 4-gating this, is to move these units out and just block that with pylon. So it's stalkers warping in over here. I wouldn't mind seeing some zealots along with it, because his opponent's only got lings, and actually until you've got blink, stalkers don't really trade that well with lings. They're not great. These 2 even shooting the hatchery, and I don't know about that, but okay, he's going to get the hatch. You don't want to still be standing on creep when the hatch dies. That's just kind of that's a thing. So Scallywag coming across the map now, but this is a lot of lings behind this wall, and you know, as I said, without blink, stalkers don't really trade very well against lings. Lings, you know, wrap around them and just do a lot of damage because they get that surface area. So you are maybe better with adepts, or indeed even zealots. So the pylon's going to go down. And there is this single void ray out that is going to manage to, you know, obviously the lings are no answer to the void ray, but these queens certainly are, and 3 queens is more than enough to see off a void ray. Tahn going for a macro hatch inside the base, and I'm not really sure about that. I don't know why you wouldn't just expand down here or even back over here. Look how many lings this is. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the army supply at 42, so presumably that means he's just all in lings, is it? 44 lings he's got, pretty much. And some stuff in production, I guess, roaches. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's not a terrible start for Scallywag. He's got his base up and mining now, so economically he's not that far behind the Zerg, but you know, if you look at the worker count, there is a reasonable difference between the 2, but given that we're at the 8-minute mark, neither of these players really has anything like the number of workers you should have at this stage in the game. But you know, the fact that the Zerg doesn't have a 3rd yet at 8 minutes is a huge win. And obviously Scallywag can be chronoing out workers from these 2 nexus. It does need to do some transferring here, but you know, if you look at the income, because he's mined out essentially in the main, these mineral patches, you know, he's down to half the patches he started with, so not much income really. This is about to be saturated, okay, but you know, he's only got a 50% higher income than he does with one base. So this is like 1.5 bases he's on now. Tahn, meanwhile, has the third saturated, and it might not take him long to get that fourth saturated. So this is actually mined out slightly slower. Presumably Tahn transferred the workers, and obviously with Protoss Chrono in the very early game as well. So, you know, Tahn is certainly fully mining off 2 bases and a half. Whereas Scallywag at present only 1.5 bases, possibly even less by now. So, yeah, Scally needs to be careful here. In the production tab, you can see Storm and you can see Charge. It would be foolish to attack with, you know, like it's an anti-timing to attack just before your upgrades finish. Attack just after your upgrades finish is when you want to be doing that, not just before. And so these zealots and these 2 stalkers, that's kind of nasty. Just die kind of for nothing really in the middle of the map. And hold up, because just look at this army supply difference. Once again, it looks like Tahn has just out-macroed his opponent, and he's just going to be turning up with far too much. There, look, not a single shield battery in sight here. You know, with a couple of shield batteries, the Void Rays would stand reasonably strong, but like that's a lot of Hydra and this many roaches. Just think how long it would take to kill those with only a couple of voids. It's GG, and Scallywag's got to be thinking, right, you know, what do I do against this? Do I try some sort of early rush? And if I'm him, I'd be almost tempted to go the other way and just go hard eco. You know, fast expand or die trying. That's personally what I would be thinking about. I'd like to see a low ground wall off into a fast expo, into a fast third with shield batteries, cannons, and you know, just tacking up from there. Maybe some Oracle harass or something like that, just to, you know, put as much to scout and keep tabs on the Zerg. And you know, the nice thing about an Oracle harass, it goes in, even if you don't get any workers killed, you're probably going to force the Zerg to build 3 spores, 1 in each mineral line. So you know, there's 3 workers, and the minerals spent, you know, for that as well. So Oracles essentially are always going to pay for themselves as long as you keep it alive, and you can get brilliant scouting done, and you can drop those time bombs that can be absolutely fantastic at just preventing a big swell of units coming across the map and killing you. But anyway, it's 2-0 GG.